Welcome to Happiness by Habit, the podcast that uncovers the daily habits and transformative insights behind the true lasting happiness. I am your host, Silvana Pimentel, and today we have a very special guest, Tia Graham. Tia is an international TED speaker, best-selling author, and the founder of Arrive at Happy, a consultancy that uses the science of happiness to elevate workplace culture and drive bottom-line results. She's working with global brands like Hilton Hotels, Hewlett-Packard, and the American Heart Association to boost employee engagement and productivity. Tia is also the author of Be a Happy Leader, where she reveals her 8-step methodology for creating happier, more productive teams. I first had the privilege of hearing Tia speak as a keynote speaker at the Women Leading Hotel Travel and Hospitality event. It was an incredible experience. I really was inspired by her powerful message about leadership, positivity, and creating a culture of happiness. Today, we will dive deeper into her journey, her proven strategies, and how leaders can transform their teams and organizations through the science of happiness. So if you're a leader looking to foster happiness, engagement, and measurable business success, this episode is for you. So let's talk about your personal journey, Tia. How you went from luxury hotels to happiness expert.
Sure, yes. Oh, I'll say I was very grateful and happy working in the luxury hospitality industry and got to work in many different places: Hawaii, New York, Istanbul, Los Angeles. And I say this often. If I didn't become a mom, I might still be working in hospitality. And this was, again, pre-pandemic, where there's a lot more flexibility and everything. But when I always worked really hard to be a positive, happy leader. I was a director of sales and marketing and was really inspired by happy leaders, and also didn't want to be like some of the leaders I worked for who were very negative and pessimistic. And I wanted to be a happy leader myself. And when I went back to work after having my second daughter, so I had a toddler and then I have a little baby, like a 4-month-old, and I'm back at work attempting to be good at everything, work and being a mom and marriage and take care of myself. And I was really struggling psychologically and emotionally. I was feeling stressed and overwhelmed and anxious and full of guilt and resentment and confused and so on. And I really, really wanted to get back to my optimistic, positive, happy self. And I ended up hiring a coach, a business life coach, who I told my dream to create this happiness company and learn about happiness and help other people be happier and be happier myself, because I wanted to spend more time with my daughters and work. And so at this point, I discovered the science of happiness and the neuroscience of positive psychology. And I started basically getting educated. I became a certified coach. I got certifications in positive psychology, became a certified chief happiness officer over in Denmark. And I started coaching people, and then I started leading workshops and speaking. And eventually, after several years, then left my corporate job and basically became a full-time entrepreneur. But the catalyst was me being unhappy. And it's funny because I always felt very sad and fearful of leaving the hotel industry and the travel industry. But now I realize I didn't leave it. I just worked with the industry in a very different way. Many hotel companies and travel companies hire me. So I wish I knew that then, because I was thinking I was leaving, but your relationships and your network always stay with you.
That's right, for sure. I love the title that you say, Chief Happiness Officer. Tell us about how you came up with that idea. This is brilliant. I love it.
Yeah, so it's not my idea, actually. There's a company in Denmark called Woohoo Inc. that's been around for, a couple decades. And they've been certifying people for, probably 18 years. And so what the title is and there are certified chief happiness officers inside of companies. Some companies call it chief well-being officer. And then there are other people like myself, like consultants or entrepreneurs, that can get certified as well. And you now can get certified, I think, at Florida International University. There's other organizations now, but I wanted to go to the one that had been doing it for a really, really long time.
Right.
And the certification is about the research and knowledge and application of well being at work. So, understanding that emotions drive behavior and leaders need to create an environment where there's more positive emotions than painful emotions, and what that does to retention, revenue, profit, customer happiness could go on and on. The ROI is, of course, you understand. And so basically I did this intensive to learn about happiness at work. I knew a lot from my experience, but to understand,
Mm-hmm.
and the Scandinavians are significantly happier at work than people in North America. And so that's also why I wanted to go over and learn. And it was really really inspiring learning from practitioners as well as from CEOs running companies there that had really high levels of happiness at work.
Yeah, this is amazing that positive impact that including implementing happiness at work can have. Like as you mentioned, the the profits go through the roof, and then
Yeah.
also employee retention. Tell us a little bit more about that, Tia, and how you have helped your customers with this, implementing this.
Yes. So the first part is measurement. Well, the first part is intention. You have to want to increase the happiness of your teams and the happiness of your customers, and you want to
Mm-hmm.
invest in it and take it seriously. And then you need to have measurement of where is the level of job satisfaction and happiness and stress and connection to purpose. And then make sure that there's regular measurement monthly, ideally, way more than once a year. And
Mm-hmm.
then what I will do with organizations is I will work with the executive teams and the leadership groups to teach them the science of happiness for themselves, because you can't expect to have a happy team if you're miserable or
Right.
you're really unhappy. So under them understanding that there is a science behind it and that there are proven strategies and tools and daily habits to increase and sustain your own well-being. And then I will inspire and teach them strategies on how to increase the happiness of their teams through the team environment as well as the relationship between the boss and the team member.
Mm-hmm.
So that's sort of a high level overview of how.
Love it, love it. Let's talk about balancing passion and leadership. Many of us aim for personal happiness, but some struggle to find balance while leading others. How do you, as someone who teaches happiness, maintain your own positivity and well-being amidst all professional challenges?
Yes, well, the first very important part is believing, truly believing that you deserve it, that
Mm.
happiness and well being is your birthright, and making it a priority for yourself. The whirlwind of work, and for a lot of people, the whirlwind of whether it's parenting or caregiving for others or all other aspects of our very busy lives, has the ability to fill every single aspect of our life. So whether you're leading a team or taking care of young kids, etc., it's the recognition that you need to prioritize it and make sure that you are designing your days to have yourself feel well. So taking care of your mind, taking care of your body, taking care of your spirit, investing in your relationships, investing in learning and growing. And our society doesn't necessarily make this easy, especially in the United States, right? There's this overwork, hustle culture. And with technology, it's very easy to just work all the time and have very little room for anything else, but it actually hurts us in so many different ways. Make it a priority, design your days so that your mind, body, and spirit are well, and keep reminding yourself that when you're well, you are going to be more successful at work and as a leader. You're going to be more creative. You're going to be more innovative. You're going to have higher levels of retention. You are going to be more productive, etc. So, just always keeping it top of mind.
I love that. And I can actually relate to that. I have a mother of two as well. I saw in your LinkedIn recently that you posted something about keeping the fire going with date nights.
Yes.
I love that. And I
Yes.
actually, it's funny, but I do that too. We made a point with my husband to kind of go out, keep a date night once a week. At least we tried. And then we
Great.
go just the two of us. We spend some quality time together. And the same with the kids also. I try to make a point to do things with them, like to keep those buckets full of love and attention. So that's very important. I love that on your comments.
Yes, yes, that of course, all aspects of our lives are interconnected, and it's challenging, but it's achievable to keep our values top of mind and to
Mm-hmm.
invest in the different parts of our life that are important and valuable to us, and recognize that if something important to you is not well, it's going to affect your work, and vice
100%.
versa.
Absolutely. Let's talk about the Great Resignation. It shows how essential employee engagement is for like a lot of employees are massively quitting jobs.
Not happy.
And
Yep.
so, yeah, because they're not happy. And so let's talk about the importance of happiness related to employee retention.
I believe it's everything. It is everything. So, to retain your team members, you want them to be feeling, for the majority of the time, emotions such as connection, friendship, excitement, joy, pride, connecting to purpose, meaning, all of these positive emotions. And yes, business is about revenue and market share and profitability, stock price. Yes. But in order to have your team be really productive and really engaged and driving all these KPIs that you want, you need them to be feeling more positive than negative. And so the world is changing really quickly, and what team members expect right now are very different than what people expected 4 years ago. Components like flexibility and more autonomy are way more important now, because I don't even think people expected it. For me, 10 years ago, autonomy and flexibility, what? No, you just worked all the time. Like, that's what is
Right.
expected.
Yeah. Big difference.
Right? There's also way more value of companies that are prioritizing social responsibility or environmental responsibility, etc. And there's all these different aspects. Understanding what people want now, and also being very clear that it's the executives and leaders' responsibility to create an environment, whether someone's working from home or hybrid or they're in person, to create an environment where the majority of the time people are feeling positive. And the number one factor is how leaders communicate and treat each other and treat their teams. And this is something for many people that doesn't come naturally. They need to be taught and held accountable for creating an environment where people are happy.
Yes, very, very important, especially after the pandemic. I think it was a big change on what the needs of the employees were. Like a lot of times, people will either focus on the income, on the benefits, but now it's much deeper, meaning like flexibility, personal time, purpose, and continuous improvement. No, like so that's a lot of companies are struggling with going back to the office in person because a lot of people got used to working from home and that flexibility that comes with. What is your take on that?
Yes, yes. So I'm a big fan of Adam Grant, who is an organizational psychologist, and all the different researchers that he connects to and showcases with his platform. And the research shows that there are benefits of in person, but it doesn't need to be 5 days a week. And the latest research I saw was if you have people together 3 days a week, and then you give them 2 days so that there's flexibility and also the time to do deep work, to not just be in meetings and calls where they actually can execute and be creative and get into a state of flow. Now, of course, there's some teams that are all virtual across the country, et cetera, and then you need to make sure that there's that connection too. My belief, and also according to the happiness researchers, forcing people back in, because I think a lot of people make fear-based decisions. A lot of leaders and executives make fear-based decisions. And if you don't treat adults like adults, you're also not going to get the best out of them. Humans want autonomy, and humans want to feel like their leaders think they're competent and that their leaders trust them. You're not managing 15-year-olds, And so
Right.
if someone, and I'm talking about knowledge workers, there's no reason a knowledge worker needs to be like someone at the front desk of a hotel. Of course, they need to be there.
Yes,
But if
that's
it's all
different.
computer-based knowledge work, You don't need to be in the office 5 days a week. And it's really also looking at where people are in their life. When I was 25, I don't want to be working at home. I want to be with everybody, right? But
Right.
if you're caretaking for your elderly parent, that's important with work. So I think it's also leaders, it's more challenging, but leaders need to have more personalization now.
Agree with you 100%. Let's talk about your book, Be a Happy Leader, where you outline the 8-step process to boost team happiness. Can you share? Oh, there you go. I need to buy that one. I don't have it yet. I haven't read it, but I will. I will. Can you please share a sneak peek into one or two of the steps that leaders can take to start implementing this right away?
Sure. So it's hard to choose 2 out of the 8. Okay,
Yes,
I'm gonna
choose as
say
many as you want.
no, no, no. I will
Ah,
say no. I will choose 2. So I'm going to start with step 1, and I touched on it, but I'll give a little more info. So step 1 out of the 8 steps for Be a Happy Leader is start with you. So in this step, I hope to inspire and also teach choices that leaders can make to increase their happiness so they'll be happier and a better leader. And so I give steps on how to take care of their body and also become more positive and optimistic, whether it be through meditation or really being cognizant of who you spend time with, because your social circle really affects your mindset. Also, about the extreme importance of getting good sleep and exercise and healthy diet. So I'm really going to give you an overview of what the science of happiness tells us and wanting leaders to make this a priority. So step 1 is step with you. And then another step is step 4, which is really important. And this one is called prioritize relationships over your to-do lists. So leaders are very, very busy and have very long to-do lists that are always getting longer, is what it feels like. And in this step, I explain why, even with a to-do list that's as long as a scroll, you put your team members and time with your team members ahead of that to-do list. And by doing that, your to-do list will shrink. So this is with consistent, really awesome team meetings, having very effective, motivating one-on-ones that supercharge their energy and their connection to where they can go in their career and get them creative, etc. And really, really being a great active listener. And so, yeah, in that step, it's how can you invest more in your team, the collective and the individual relationships, so that they all perform at a higher level. And when that happens, your to-do list is going to get easier.
Oh my God, I love that. You mentioned a couple of words that are very important, that to connect with them. That's key. One thing is to speak with somebody, but another whole different level is to actually connect and understand and actively listen to them.
Yes.
So that definitely makes a difference.
And I agree with you. And what I want people listening to think about is you're not just connecting intellectually, you're not connecting cognitively, it's heart connection, human connection.
Yes, with the best intention also to help them or to address any challenge they might have and
Yes.
to understand their purpose. And that's beautiful. Let's talk about overcoming skepticism about happiness. There are some leaders might see happiness like a nice to have rather than the essential for success. But we have numbers and you have all kinds of research done on this that show definitely that there is such a thing as an ROI for happiness. So how do you convince these skeptics that happiness isn't just a fluffy concept?
Yes. Many people have told me happiness doesn't belong in business.
Ah.
So Oxford University has a Center for Wellbeing, and they're the leading researchers on the science connecting organizational growth, profit and revenue, and market share growth, and well-being at work, happiness at work. So what I share with skeptics is that there was a massive study done with the company Indeed and Oxford, and there was over 1,500 public companies on the stock market. And what it showed is that the companies who had high levels in these areas where the employees said they were happy, where they were connected to purpose, where they had manageable levels of stress, and they had high job satisfaction. So basically, they're happy at work. The company significantly outperformed the S&P 500, significantly. And so what the research showed, and it was a longitudinal study, what the research showed is that if you don't care about happiness and you're not measuring it, you're not prioritizing it, and it's not part of the leaders, I want to say scoreboard and their review, you are leaving massive amounts of money on the table.
Yeah, fascinating. You mentioned that neuroscience is central to understanding happiness also. Do you have any information about recent research or trends in this field that you find most exciting or relevant for leaders today?
And sorry, your question was about, you're saying the neuroscience of happiness?
Neuroscience, yes.
Yes. So I haven't, and to be honest, in the last year or so, I haven't kept up with. I read lots of research, but I don't want to say I have like the most up to date. But for me, what I found fascinating when I was getting certified in applied neuroscience, and also just learning about positive psychology, because it kept touching on neuroscience as well. And I think would be interesting for leaders also is just how plastic our brains are and how much we can change, whether it's with widening or narrowing of neural pathways, as well as like the birth of new brain cells. And so when we change, basically the neuroscience shows when we change our thinking and when we change our behavior, our physical brains will change. And whether that's by learning an instrument or learning a new language or starting a meditation practice or exercising more, practicing loving kindness through like meta meditations, I could go on and on of all these different thinking habits and behavior habits that of just how much we can change and how much people can change even up until their knees. I think a lot of us, me included, believe this is who I am, this is how I am. And I'll share something personal. Over the last 3 years, I have invested extensively into different healing therapies, many different types of healing therapies. And my outlook, the way I view the world, I will say my personality, my non-reactivity, my level of calm, I have changed drastically from where I was 3 years ago. And so, yeah, I just think the resounding message of the neuroscience is we can change.
Wow. Yeah, that's amazing.
We can become healthier and happier.
Yeah. The title of this podcast is Happiness by Habit, and you already touched on this, but I would like to go a little deeper. Can you share with us, Tia, a couple of your favorite happiness habits that you would like to recommend for our listeners?
Yes. Okay. So a few of my happiness habits are, okay. Well, no, sleep is not one. Okay. So I will say
sleep,
happiness habit
is a good one,
movement.
actually.
Yeah. So exercise. So I stay happy by doing yoga, doing cardio, and lifting weights.
Okay.
Another one of my habits is reading. I devour books and it makes me happy. I mentioned meditation. That's been very, very helpful for me. And then, yeah, well, what we talked about, but I would say like investing and having like fun with my marriage, and then having fun and playing and connecting with my kids. Those are habits just because I'm with my husband and with my kids every single day. And then the last one I'll say for me personally is I have a habit of always learning. So whether it's a book or taking a course, or I'm in a mastermind, or I have mentors, or I go to a training, and I have a habit of learning about all different types, whether it's parenting, whether it's work, whether it's learning more about happiness, etc. I basically try to kind of always stay in that, like, I'm still in university mindset and I'm going to keep learning and growing.
I love it. I can relate to that also. I have a couple of the happiness habits you mentioned I also love meditating and reading. Sometimes I don't read the physical books, but I do a lot of audiobooks, especially if I'm driving, and I love it. You can learn so much, and it's awesome.
Listening to, another happiness habit is listening to podcasts that lift me up. I have a few that just like nourish me whenever I listen to them.
Awesome. Let's make it to your list, Tia. I hope Happiness by Habit makes it to your list.
Absolutely.
Awesome, very nice. Let's talk a little bit about the future of happiness in leadership. Looking ahead, how do you see the role of happiness evolving in leadership and corporate strategy over the next few years?
I'm very optimistic and hopeful and excited about the future of happiness and leadership. Now more than ever, there are executive roles, like I said, chief well-being officer, etc. And the labor market is also demanding it more. They have higher expectations, as we kind of touched on a little bit earlier. And with the research coming out of Harvard and Oxford, more and more business leaders and executives, and I think boards of directors are going to take it more seriously, and then it will be measured more consistently and so on. We still have a very long way to go, but we're moving in the right direction, is my take.
Awesome. Is there a key piece of advice that you would like to give to leaders to create happier, high-performing teams for our listeners? What could be a good piece of advice from you?
Yes. A good piece of advice is to, if you're not very familiar with everything that we are talking about today, is to read a couple positive psychology books to understand what the science of human happiness is, understand that it's measured and researched, and that it can be applied to you and to your leadership. So that would be my tip, is just start to understand what is this science of happiness. And also a side benefit, the research shows that when you're learning about the science of happiness, even if you're not applying it, just by learning about it, it's going to make you happier.
Yes, for sure. And speaking of some things to see or to read, I would love to add this to the list. Your TEDx talk, Tia, is beautiful. The simple secret of being happier. That would be a good one also to watch, for sure.
Yes, watch my TED Talk. Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. So what can we expect from you, Chia, for this 2025? What is in the works? What are you working on?
Yes, thank you for asking. I'm very excited as I have a new initiative. So I have launched a membership, and it is called the Calm Working Moms Collective. And I've launched with founding members. It's closed to members right now, but it'll open again in April. And it is a private community where high achieving working moms come to get inspired and learn about the science of happiness at work, and also the science of healing, so that they can be happier and healthier and more successful, and also be more effective with their children and be well overall. So that's something new. In addition to the speaking that I do and partnering with leaders, the Calm Working Moms Collective is new. I would like to, I have it on my goal, I have a big goal calendar up here in my office. I would like to start working on TED Talk number 2 also.
Oh, there you go. I like it. Very nice. Looking forward to see that one.
Thank you.
For sure, it's going to be a good one.
Thank
Thank you so much for sharing such invaluable insights, Chia. We really appreciate it. We're going to leave your social media links here on the podcast so people can get in touch with you. And I know our listeners will also walk away with a lot of actionable strategies to bring more happiness into their lives. So thank you so much. And if you would like to learn more about Chia, her speaking, her corporate programs, visit her website. We're going to put the link here in the podcast. And don't forget to grab her book, Be a Happy Leader, a must read for anyone who is ready to lead with positivity and purpose. As always, thank you again. If you enjoyed today's episode, please share it with someone who would enjoy a little bit more of happiness in their life. Until next time, thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.